Okay, we are back and we are in our regular filming setup. I want to do a new makeup releases or trying new makeup. I don't know. Some of these are new releases and some of these aren't going to be new. They're just new to me. I've never tried any of these products with the exception of my eyebrows that I did today with my Benefit Precisely My Brow. Got a ton of new stuff. I did a haul video on all of these products 2 videos ago, so earlier this week, and I do close-ups and swatches on all of that stuff, so if you're interested in that, I'll link that up in the cards. With the exception of one product, I haven't tried anything on yet, so there's a lot of little things here. It's almost a full face, like I said, again, with the exception of my eyebrows, so all of this stuff is new to me and or new to the market. So let's just get to playing with this stuff. The first thing that I have here, the Wishful, this is the Honey Balm. I'm getting a ton of reflection on this. So this looks like a new moisturizer from Huda Beauty's like skincare line, Wishful. And I feel like this is a new launch, not just like a new product. It says Honey Balm Jelly Moisturizer. Apply a small amount to clean skin, gently rub until fully absorbed. It says it has a lavender in it, niacinamide. I don't know. I do have a couple of Wishful products and I do like them. I actually think they're really good. So far I've had pretty good luck with the Wishful line. Here is what the little packaging looks like. So there's a couple of testers in here, but overall these are not testers, just the first couple. So ooh, it's a pretty thick like moisturizer. So like that is the consistency there. Like I said, I'm a fan of the Wishful products that I do have. I think they perform well and I don't think that they irritate my skin, which is always like, you know, usually a big deal. So this is heavily scented. It has a strong lavender scent, but it doesn't feel like your typical moisturizer. Like it's not lotiony, it has more of like a gel consistency, I guess. I guess it almost feels silicone-y. And like, maybe there's oils in it. Like it definitely feels oily, like really thick. I'm honestly not sure how I feel about the scent. It's just really strong. And it's like not absorbing as fast as like a moisturizer would. It's sitting on my skin and it's just like, I don't know if you can see that on my hands, but it's like super oily. I don't know if I feel like I need to remedy that situation. Like I don't know how I feel about that. It was really thick and the scent is really strong and I don't really like lavender. Like I don't like the way lavender skincare or bath care smells, bath care, body care. It's just not my favorite scent. I guess I like lavender if it's like a candle, but like, I just don't care for this. This is not my cup of tea. I'm so confused. I just don't think I like that. Like, I don't think that's gonna be something I grab for again, honestly. And I did want to try a new primer. I'm pretty sure this is new to the market. This is the new Natasha Denona High-Gen Skin Glass. So this is the primer serum. And I do want to try this. I just don't know how it's gonna sit on top of this. I did like really try and rub it in so that it absorbed more into my skin. So I just put it on my hand and this is what it looks like. It is very like iridescent. So it feels very silky, very soft and has like a natural scent to it, not an overpowering like scent that they put there. Like it just smells like skincare-y or lotion-y. But it is a primer serum. It definitely looks like it's gonna be nice and luminous. So far, I like the way this feels. Well, my face has never felt more hydrated. That Huda Beauty one, I can already tell you I'm not gonna be a big fan of. So I'll try not to talk about it too much more because I'm probably just gonna throw it away after this video. But this High-Gen Skin Glass has a nice luminosity to it. It felt really good going on. I liked the consistency of it. I liked the way that it like makes my skin feel, and it definitely feels hydrating. So I did put it back there behind me so that I could stand it up because I already know that I'm going to want to use it again because it felt so good. So that one seemed pretty nice, and I think I've heard pretty good reviews about that particular one. I don't know if I've heard anyone talk about the Jelly Honey Balm from Wishful. But the Hygiene one, I think launched in just like the last couple of months, and I have heard good things about it. So I'm excited to use that again on just like bare skin, I think, but my skin feels super hydrated. So let's move on and we'll do some eyeshadow primer. So I just got this in a BoxyCharm. I do try and try the things from BoxyCharm that I like or that like look good. And I figured why not just like almost do a full face of new stuff. So this was the Beauty Crop Stuck on You eyeshadow base. It doesn't appear to have like a shade on it, so hopefully it's like not too dark of a color. I don't want to discount like some of the stuff that I get in BoxyCharm because some of it is actually really good and ends up becoming some of my favorite things. So figured it would be like a doe foot applicator, and it is. So I'm gonna just apply it to my lids. I think I'm just gonna buff it in with an Eco Tools brush. Right away, the color is really good, like for my skin tone, so not too much pigmentation. It's like a medium formula. Like I can definitely feel that it has some tack to it, and it's not as thin as like the Urban Decay Primer Potion, and it's not as thick as like the ABH eyeshadow primer. So it's like a cross between. Another one that's really thick is the Juvia's Place eyeshadow base. That one has really white pigmentation. It's like pretty lightweight, like neutral, but it's not there. It's definitely like a middle weight formula, medium weight formula. So it actually feels really good. It was easy to blend in. So we'll see how the eyeshadow lays on top of that one. So let's move into the foundation that I have. This is the L'Oreal Age Perfect 4-in-1 Tinted Balm, and this is in the shade 20 Fair. I have swatched this already, and I did notice that there are some like bubbles in here, and then originally before I swatched it, it did look a little cracked, even though I took the plastic off of it. So I think it's probably still okay. It's probably just something that happened during like packaging this product. I don't think it has anything to do with the product being bad. Let's hope. But it's a very, very creamy emollient formula. It's like really, really stiff, but just touching the top layer, it's like, oh, so much comes off. It is so emollient. So I'm actually just gonna put it on my finger and then apply it to my face, but I wanna do half of the face and see the coverage and the finish of this, because I really don't know what to expect. I mean, it says a tinted balm, so I imagine it's going to be fairly hydrating. I'm just going to go in with my Lunar Beauty sponge, and it is damp. I didn't put that much on. Like, to be honest with you, it's not as thick of a formula as I thought it was going to be. Like, it was much more watery than I thought. Well, it's done. That was one application. That was just like me very lightly putting it on this side of the face, and honestly it didn't provide all that much coverage for what I applied. So let's dig into this just a little bit more, and we're gonna get some more on the face here. If this doesn't give me more coverage, I don't know. Am I gonna go in a third time? Yeah, I am for sure. I mean, it's pretty light. Nothing on this side. Applied it twice on this side. It's just a really, really light formula. Like, it's not at all what I expected it to be. I expected it to be like, you know, the She Glam influencer balm and how thick that is? That's what I expected from this. And that's not what this is. It is so lightweight and like such a sheer coverage. It's not doing anything for what's going on right here. I can still see my pigmentation. I can still see a ton of my freckles. It's just on a high amount of coverage. So I'm actually gonna just take my sponge and dip it like directly into the product for the other side and actually see if that gives me some more coverage, because I could tell when I was like picking it up on my finger that it was like shearing out by the time I put it on my face. And I don't know if that's just, you know, an application thing or if this is really going to be a super sheer coverage. By the way, I've seen 0 reviews on this. I've just seen like people posting about trying it, and it seems to have good reviews online. I just haven't seen a single person use this. So I don't know what to expect. Okay, it's extremely hydrating. says infused with firming serum, but it's so emollient, so hydrating. That's kind of what this is, just a very, very light coverage. So you can see like kind of how radiant it is. And I don't know if that's the primer or the jelly moisturizer underneath. It could be, but even when I swatched it, it was a really, really sheer swatch. And putting it on my face, like the little dots that I had, they had no base to them. They were like pretty see-through, pretty sheer. So, I mean, it makes sense. I got a little bit more coverage, I think, on this side where I dipped my sponge directly into the product than I did applying it like with the swatch of my finger. Even though this is like still the more problem side, I still feel like I got more coverage here. I like it. Like, it doesn't feel like super tacky, like maybe a little bit for a balm, but it's not like it feels like it would slip off of my face. So if you like that kind of light coverage, I actually think this is a really good balm or foundation or whatever you want to call it. So it will be an update in the comments, but upon initial application, I like it for a pretty light coverage. I just like stuck my face in the bright lights of the mirror, and close up, it looks so good. I don't know that I've seen a balm look this good close up. It is just like sitting perfectly across my face and all my imperfections, that it doesn't make it look unnatural. It actually looks extremely good close up. And that must just be that it's just this like really, really kind of sheer light coverage. But so far, actually, I can say that like, I like the way it's making my skin look. So I don't know, that's it for now. Let's move on into concealer. This is something that's been on the market, super, super popular. So I'm gonna throw it on with like a sped up version of this, but it is the NYX Bare With Me Primer Concealer, or Concealer Serum rather. I decluttered this product a long time ago because I hated the packaging. I hated like the pump and putting it on my hand and then dotting it under my eye. I don't know why, I'm a silly person. So I got rid of it, and I'm kind of sorry that I did because I can't really remember how I like felt about it performing. I actually thought about repurchasing it. I'm just gonna use the light shade. I'm not gonna use the fair one, mostly because this foundation was just so light that I actually want to use it to like spot conceal, and if I use the fair shade, it will just be too light. So I actually really liked that. I don't think it ended up looking too heavy, even though I kept like applying it. It spot concealed really well, and it's a really lightweight coverage. So it's a medium lightweight coverage that doesn't appear to be like sinking in anywhere, and it's a little bit luminous. So I remember that it probably was a pretty good product. It was just that I didn't like the application of it, and I think at the time I just wasn't willing to like settle. Oh, and I think it was too light a shade. I bought it too light a shade, and so it kind of looked funny on me, and I think that's the reason that I decluttered it. Maybe not as much as it was an issue with the formula. So anyway, it seems to be beautiful. It seems to be working well together. It doesn't seem to be like caking up on my nose, even though I kept applying it. So I'm actually happy about that. I'm gonna have to repurchase the full size of that in the right color because that light shade was perfect and not the fair shade. Let's move on into another like tester product. This is the Studio Fix Powder Foundation from MAC. This was another tester in this like number of products that I ordered. So inside you get the powder plus this little puff applicator. And I said in my haul video, like I wouldn't try this as like a foundation, but that I would use it more as a setting powder. So I think that's what I want to do here. I've never tried any MAC like powder product before. I'm obviously using this little applicator because why the heck not? It actually looks cute and fun, like I'm powdering with a little wafer. All right, I switched that because that wafer thing was like weird. I just didn't like it. Like it was skipping across my skin. So I just switched to like an e.l.f. brush. All right, I've just unscrewed this up because I don't like the way that looks sitting on top of the foundation and the concealer. And I don't think it has anything to do with like the products underneath. I just think this is like a really, really like thick powder. Like it's saying it's like a powder foundation. And like the e.l.f. Camo one, I can actually set my whole face with it, even though it's a powder foundation, like it's a setting powder. And I thought maybe this would work in that way. Nope, it's just too heavy. So yeah, not a huge fan of that. Don't really like heavy powders. The Camo The e.l.f. Camel one, 10 times better. Really love that. Sticking with that. So before I move on into anything else, I feel like I want to put some setting spray on, maybe that's like a little bit hydrating, because now I feel just like a little bit dry after I put that powder on. This was another BoxyCharm item. This is a super set from Toy Factory, and it is a setting spray with hyaluronic acid. So I want to give this a shot. So here is the packaging on this. It's actually quite a big bottle. It's 3.38 fluid ounces. So let's see the spray. Okay. So it has a little bit of a scent to it. The sprayer was so good. It actually reminds me of like this one, which is one of my favorite. This is the Pixie Fixing Mist, and they have very, very similar packaging. But my one complaint with this Pixie one is that the sprayer is not good. It sprays out like way too much product, where this one was actually very, very nice. It had a a more dispersed stream, as opposed to like the Pixie one that just like shoots you with one stream in the face. So this actually felt really good, super hydrating, like the sprayer. We'll see if it makes the makeup last. So I loved everything until I put that powder on. Now I'm just like mad at myself, mad at it. All right, I think next we'll also put on some lip balm while we put on the rest of our makeup. So I have tried this. This is the Winky Luxe pH Lip Balm in Amethyst. They have had like these pH lip balms before, but this Amethyst is like a new shade for them. So it comes in this like packaging that's like this little pill, and it has little sparkles in it. And I think all of theirs does. All of these pH lip balms have like sparkles in them. I'm trying to get the camera to focus, but it wants to focus on my hand. There we go. It's just really pretty and I like it, and I have tried it. So I do know that like the sparkles in it don't hurt. Like some of my products that have these sparkles in them, they're really thick, and so when you're putting it on, they kind of scrape against your lip. But these are like really fine, and so they don't hurt. It does go on kind of purple, but then it turns like a pink shade on me, like a very, very light pink. Well, now it's coming out more purple. So it's hydrating, but not overly slippy. I just really like the sparkles in my lip products, so I'm a sucker for that. It's not my most like hydrating lip balm ever, but it's a cute concept. It is nice. And I've been into like pH lip products recently. All right, let's move on into the coup de grace. So we are going to use the new Huda Beauty Empowered palette. I have swatched this palette already, so I will throw in an insert of the palette unswatched. My comment was that the packaging is very digital. Like it just looks like a very digital background. The inside palette looks the same. Well, I've just completely injured my my palette. So it actually had like a nick in this corner right here. And so I started to take off what appeared to be like the clear plastic that was around it. And then it started pulling off like the lettering. Oh, what a nightmare have I done here. It looked like you could peel it off. In fact, like I kind of like the shinier side than I do the matte. I don't know if it was intended to be like that, but I'm guessing since I started to pull off the E and the R that it's not supposed to be. So I have decided what I want to do. I want to take this marbleized shade right here. I swatched a couple of these again, and I just think this is so beautiful. It has like that purple and then orange shift to it. So I'm actually hoping that that translates onto my brush so that I can get that shift on my eyes, because I think that's the key here. I can get it good on a swatch, but can I get it good on my brush? These shades complement each other so well. It just has that like right amount of shimmer that's going onto my eye. I love this. Okay, I think that actually looks good and pretty even. I don't know, I'm blind without my glasses, so if I'm not even, that's because I can't see. All right, I'm gonna deepen it up, and I'm gonna deepen it up with this shade here, which is the shade Confident, and see if I can't like build up this depth. I definitely want to use one of those gel liner hybrids. Are we satisfied with this? Like, I think I am right now. So I'm gonna move on to the next step. I think I'm actually gonna take this brown gel liner in the shade Worthy, and I'm just gonna put it really, really close to my lash line on the outer half of my eye. So I just actually brought it all the way in, and I liked the way that applied. It almost seemed like it had an orange like base to it, like it wasn't completely brown. I could be wrong. I think what I want to do is put the shimmer on the eye and then go back in with the liner again, because bringing it all the way in, I actually did like the way that that looks. So I think that's what I want to do. So let's go into the shimmer. I know which shimmer I want to do. I want to do this gold one here. This is in the shade Limitless. This one is very similar. This one just has this one has no base to it. It's a lot of glitter and less base. This one actually has quite like a yellow base to it. I am just going to go in with my finger on this and hope that I don't make a huge mess. I'm going to deepen up that outer corner again. I'm going to bring that liner back in and go back over that shimmer to bring the liner all the way across the eye. I actually didn't like the way that it was like laying, the eyeliner was like laying across the shimmer. I was kind of having to like stamp it on or pack it on, and it really wasn't doing that much. I think that I probably have to duplicate my efforts on the other side to make it look even. I just don't know that it did all of that much. The shimmer is just so wet. It's like, the minute I put my finger in it, it's like pushed all the way to the bottom of the pan. Now deepening the outer corner again on this side. Just adding that back in a little bit, and then going in with a liner on the left eye. I think the liner is actually quite pigmented in this brown shade, but I just don't think I was getting the effect laying across the shimmer that I was really hoping for. It just had a really, really tough time laying across that shimmer that I would think twice about doing it like this again. So I don't think there's anything preventing us from doing the lower lash line right now. I'm actually gonna go in with this shade right here. This is called Big Dreams, and just put it across the entire lower lash line. Okay, done with that piece. This is not like a trying new makeup necessarily with the formula, because the formula seems like it's exactly the same for Huda, and I love all of those size palettes of hers. I'm not the biggest fan of like those mini ones or the 6 pans, whatever they are. They just, I don't know, they just don't have the same quality. They don't have the same shimmers in them. This is exactly the same formula that I'm used to. And what I said in my haul video was, it wouldn't matter to me if the color story was repetitive from other Huda Beauty shadows that I already had in my collection, because I love the formula so much that like at this point, I'm just a collector of her eyeshadow palettes in that size. So this was coming home with me. I'm not disappointed with the formula. I'm not disappointed with the application. I actually quite like having like the gel liners in here, because honest to goodness, I don't use every single shade in every one of her palettes anyway. So having those two be liners, I didn't mind them. Okay, let's move on into bronzer. So I picked up a liquid bronzer from the Creme shop, and this is the Toasty Cushion Bronzer. So I mentioned this in my haul. I've also mentioned this in my cream and liquid blush ranking video, that the Creme shop has one of my like favorite drugstore cream or liquid products. I mean, it is drugstore, but it's like one of my favorite cream or liquid products. So here's the packaging, and I don't know what made me think of this, but I was definitely thinking about picking up more cream and liquid products. And so I went onto the Creme shop and I was like, you know what, let me see what else they have. And then they had both the bronzer and the highlighter. So I picked up both of those. I have swatched this already, and I know that it's probably gonna be a pretty good shade. So I'm just gonna go into my other like Lunar Beauty sponge to apply this. It's really emollient. I probably have to go in with a pretty light hand. It is toasty, so you do get quite a warmth, and I'll try and like diffuse it out a little bit, but I think the Creme shop liquid products are literally among my favorite. And not just because I think their formula is fantastic. I also think that having a cushion for a liquid product is the only way to go with liquid. Like in the Charlotte Tilbury, you have the cushion applicator, With the Milani new ones, there's the cushion applicator, but like these cushion compacts, superb for this. It also eliminates like an extra product, if you ask me, because I feel like with the Charlotte Tilbury or the Milani ones, I use the applicator and I dot it everywhere, and then I still take a sponge anyway to blend it out. So this way I'm just using the sponge and I'm just digging into the product like I would like a cream product and moving on with my life. It's a very like uber pigmented formula, so I'm trying to like diffuse it out with the same sponge that I used with the foundation. I love this bronzer. First time using it, and I love it. I knew I was going to, because I love the cream blush so much. Like, it's such a pigmented formula with such a strong base that you don't build and build and build. It just goes on with like really, really easy application. So, huge fan. Lettuce, and tomatoes. Let us move on into blush. So I picked up the Nude from Giorgio Armani. Again, I was saying like I wanted to pick up more cream and liquid products. So I think I was like even searching like cream, and I was like on Sephora's website, and it just got me into it. So I have swatched this, but this is just like a rusty color, and I thought it would be good for this eye look. What do you think? I think so. I think we're going fall vibes. I think we're going rusty vibes. So I'm going to take this side of the blender and get the product on the sponge here and just apply it. Wow. Now what am I going to do? Okay. I'm kind of taking like the dry part of my sponge and seeing if I can like do triage. Triage. Help. Call 911. Look at this. PSA announcement on the Neo Nudes. One tap of your sponge. One tap. Could you imagine if I just left this and then I like walked downstairs and I was like, hey babe, okay, I'm done filming. Oh God, he'd be like, what have you done to yourself? You are not allowed to go up there and play with makeup anymore. Like he could tell me what I'm allowed to do. I was just joking. I'm being facetious now. But that is like so overly pigmented. I must figure a way to cover this with powder, like right away. I'm just gonna go in with my one size, turn up the base foundation powder. I like a lot of blush. I think that was probably just like too much. Okay, I think that actually looks really good. I'm gonna throw that box away because that pigmentation is not going anywhere. We are now moving on to highlighter. So I picked up, like I said before, the Creme Shop. This is a cushion highlighter. This is in Rose Gold Glow, and when I swatched it, there was not really anything rose gold about it. It might have had like a slight rosy sheen. There was no gold. I saw no gold. It's very, very white when you swatch it, so I'll swatch it for you. This is that lovely packaging. So that's what it looks like on the inside. There's just nothing rosy about it. Even when you swatch it on your finger, it's just very, very white. So I don't know what they meant by rose gold glow, but it's not, you know, mandatory that it was like in the shade that I picked. I would have probably been happy with bunch of different shades. So I'm just taking like the clean part of the sponge. It's pretty clean. And I'm applying it. Can you see it? So I can kind of see the rose. Like I was mentioning before, it has like a very, very light pink to it, but there's no gold. Like I don't see any gold in here. And I don't know the Creme Shop to like get colors wrong. I just don't agree with what it says. I actually like look at it. It has no sparkles in it. It's just a good emollient liquid sheen. Like that's all this is. Just a really good sheen, no sparkles. It dries down really, really quickly. Like liquid highlighters are not my favorite, and that's why I say like these cushion products for liquid, it's the way to go, 100%. Look, now it won't close. Well, that sucks. Let's hope it doesn't dry out. This little clippy thing I can't get to go back into place. I'm actually kind of glad we did a little bit of an orange look because I had 3 lip products and I wasn't sure which one I wanted to try. I had the NYX, I'm jumping to lip products, but I'm going back to mascara. The Smooth Whip in Teddy Fluff, which is pretty brown, and this Maybelline Ultimate, which is pretty orange. So we'll swatch it just to decide like which one we want to do, but I will go back into mascara. Actually, sometimes when I'm sitting at my desk and I'm doing my makeup, I want the lip product to like dry down, like before I get up and leave in case I'm gonna top it with a gloss or something. And I'll actually put my lip products on before my mascara. So, all right, here are the 2 shades. This one is the NYX Whip, and that's the Ultimate from Maybelline. So which one do we think that we can get away with? I mean, this one's like matching the blush pretty good. This one, maybe a little bit dark. I mean, this matches the eyes, this matches the lips. I'm gonna go with this one. I'm gonna go with the Maybelline Ultimate. Okay, I have tried this and I believe I have, yeah, I've even tried this on camera. So it's the Tower 28 new mascara. It's the Make Waves mascara. So I have tried this before already. I am a huge fan of this. I bought it when it very, very first launched. So I'm just gonna throw that on and then we'll come back and do the lipstick. Okay, so that is it with the mascara applied. Does anyone feel like one of their lower lashes is longer than the other? Or even that one of their upper lashes is longer than the other? Because that's how I feel. And it's like legitimately the opposite. Like my right eyelashes, I feel like are longer and then on the top, and then like on the bottom, my lower lashes are longer than the other side. So like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Let's go into the Maybelline Ultimate. It's nice. I'm like reevaluating my decisions, but I ended up putting both lip products on. I put this all over and then I kind of put like the NYX in like the outer V of my lips just to like deepen it up or give it a little bit of contouring because it just kind of looked like just this flat orange color. So I actually think I like it. Let's do a wrap up of all of the products. So I'm gonna talk about the ones that like I really did like. I don't think I need to go through everything, but the Creme Shop products, I absolutely love both of these. I don't think this is a rose gold shade, but the bronzer was super pigmented and great. The L'Oreal Age Perfect, I actually really liked. It was not at all what I was expecting. I was expecting it to be a thicker balm formula, especially from L'Oreal. I guess I have some L'Oreal products that are like thicker in consistency, and so when I was thinking of a potted product, we've seen quite a bit of potted products lately that I think are like a thicker formula than this, so that's what I was anticipating, but that's not the case, and I actually really did enjoy the first application and then looking up close. So I think it's definitely going to be one that I'm going to reach for to keep using and see if I can get that consistency out of it. I thought the like setting spray was good. We'll see if it lasts. I just thought the sprayer was nice and it felt really hydrating. Super pigmented. Be careful with this bad boy. Love it. I like a lot of Giorgio Armani products, so if this lasts, it's going to be one of those like super pigmented, super long lasting, little product goes a long way. One of my higher ranking cream blushes, period, end of story, period, end of story. So looking around and like thinking of like what else I have to talk about, but I did talk about this before, regardless of color story, I would have purchased it anyway. I think her shadows are phenomenal. I think they have good lasting power. I think they're nice and pigmented. They basically blend themselves. I always get a look that I really like. And so I enjoy every one that I have that is that size. I will continue to keep buying them. She could put out like an all yellow one and I probably would buy that darn thing. So happy with that. I thought the eyeshadow base, everything went over it really nicely, and I thought it was a good color. I kind of looked at it like, oh, you have one color, so you know that it's probably not going to work on every single skin tone, but for like a light skin, and I think BoxyCharm knows that I'm fair skinned. I think you select it when you like set up your account, like what you are. So I do think that they got this correct. It doesn't seem to have a shade, but we'll just assume maybe there's more than one. If not, it's not going to work for all skin tones. Otherwise, I actually think it did a really good job. I think it was a cross between the lightweightness of the Urban Decay Primer Potion and then like the thickness of like the Juvia's Place and the Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow primer. So this one falls in the middle. It's one that I will reach for. Like I can tell that I like it because the eyeshadow went on top of it really good. So if it helps it to really last, then I'll know that it's probably a pretty good one. This Amethyst, pH lip balm. Not the most hydrating thing in the world. It is kind of gimmicky because there are a lot of lip products out there, like even less expensive, that are from the drugstore that I think are a little bit hydrating, but I kind of purchased it for the gimmicky factor because it wasn't originally something that I was gonna get, but I ended up picking it up, so there you go. The Tower 28 mascara, huge fan of this. I like it equally for the top and bottom. I don't find that it transfers. I find that it lengthens. I feel that it curls my lashes. It's a really good one. I think that it's probably in my collection right now, like second behind the Lawless One and Done mascara. That still hasn't been beaten. It is just a really, really pigmented formula, and every time I put it on, I'm happy. And then when I replace it with a different mascara, I'm like, it's just not the same. So I don't think the Tower 28 beats my Lawless in the love for that mascara that I have, but it's right behind it. It's close. It's number 2. And then the Ultra Matte. These, because I really like a matte formula, I'm always looking to see how it compares against some of my favorites, which are like the NARS Lip Crayon, and the Bite Beauty. So those are my top 3. I'm always looking kind of for like a drugstore equivalent, and I think this was pretty good, but it's more drying than both of those. So it's not my absolute favorite. I just think if you're looking for a matte formula, then this would be a good alternative to that. So I don't know, not my favorite. It was all right. That was everything. So yeah, pretty pleased with this haul. My favorite thing was the eyeshadow, but I think second favorite of the products that I haven't tried before was the L'Oreal Age Perfect, and then, I don't know, maybe the Armani. I don't know. The foundation and the blush, it's a cross between, or a tie between those two. Really, really liked it. Hope you enjoyed today's video. I will for sure catch you in the next one. Bye.